at the St. Pancras train station in London, waiting to go on the Channel train to Amsterdam, about a 4-hour trip. Our apartment was right near this canal, so we took a boat ride right away. There are many canals in Amsterdam. Now we are on the Amstel River, from which Amsterdam gets its name. Our guide drank a small sip of water from the Amstel River to show how pure it was. This bridge is called the Magere Brug, meaning skinny bridge. It has been filmed for many movies such as Diamonds Are Forever. Notice no railings or walls along most of the sides of the canals. That's one reason why they pull so many bicycles and other junk out of the canals. Janet by our apartment with the Westerkerk Church in the background. And me too. We had to drag all of our luggage up about 4 floors to this attic apartment. It was quite cozy, and only about 3 blocks from the Anne Frank house. This is the Westerkerk Dutch Reformed Church, about a block from the Anne Frank house. Anne could hear the music from the bells ringing, and she could see the clock face from the attic, and she says in her diaries that the ringing of the bells was a source of comfort. Bicycling is a main form of transportation there. We took buses or walked. This is Central Station, where we came in by train from London. This is the IJ Bay, where the Amstel River ends, with the Basilica of St. Nicholas in the background. From Central Station, we took the Damrak Walk to the Dam Square. In the middle of Dam Square is this monument memorializing World War II heroes. We sat down and ate snacks with a Muslim family from Iran, I believe. This is the Royal Palace. There was a huge flower market which is open around the clock. We had lunch with this nice couple from Belgium. He was an actor in a children's vampire television series. There were a couple of nice churches that we checked out. Janet's favorite treat was this herring and pickle snack. My favorite were the Dutch pancakes. I had them twice in one day. We enjoyed mint leaf tea. Not pictured here, but we ate at a famous Dutch restaurant that was known for bitterballen, which is potatoes and beef balls, and they're famous for apple pie as well. A definite highlight was visiting the Anne Frank house. There are more than 1 million visitors per year. To buy tickets, you need to get them online months in advance. We only had this one day and there were 800 people ahead of us online. Janet persisted and kept punching her name in on the website, and somehow, by the grace of God, we ended up getting tickets. There was an eerie sacredness on this self-guided tour, as no one seemed to speak above a moderate whisper, and I could almost feel the hiding occupants' presence during periods of long contemplation of the life that was shared in this simple annex for 761 days.
Mr. Frank had known the fact that they would have to go into hiding was inevitable, but on July 5th, 1942, Margot, Anne's oldest sister, received a summons to report to a Nazi concentration camp. This sped up the process of them going into hiding. The next day, they would go into hiding. From the front of the building, it looks like a pretty average business of the time. But the secret annex is actually a separate building in a way. It just has a kind of breezeway between the two buildings. The entrance into the secret annex starts as you go up this staircase that leads to the second floor. Then, at the end of the hallway, you go through this door which leads you into the breezeway between the two buildings. This is the movable bookcase that leads you into the secret annex. Now, if you move the bookcase and go through this door, then
when we stepped up through this door, the solemn part of history became alive.
If we go into this door over here, we will be led into Anne's room, which she also shared with Mr. Dussel. Here you can see Mr. Dussel's bed. And this is Anne's bed, which has all of her celebrities above it on the wall. This is Anne's desk, and sitting on it is the famous diary.
Anne and Margot Frank died of typhus in February of 1945 at Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, and their bodies were thrown into a mass grave. Anne's father, Otto, was the only one of the family to survive. Ironically, Janet's dad, at about the same time of Anne Frank's death, was wounded in Germany in February of 1945 while attempting to free people like Anne from Nazi Germany. John's army troops, the 89th Infantry, were the first to liberate any concentration camp in Nazi Germany, that being Ohrdruf. How wonderful it is that nobody need to wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. From the Diary of Anne Frank. She wrote that her dream was to become a famous writer, and so she has. Bye-bye, Amsterdam. It was time well spent. And so we hopped back on the train to Brussels, Belgium, an area set aside for pigeons in the shopping area. We stopped at a little cafe for Belgian waffles for Janet and some crepes for Wayne. This is the Grand Place, or Grote Market Museum and Town Hall buildings. We toured around on foot for a while before catching a tour bus. Along with the modern architecture, we saw this neo-Gothic Roman Catholic church built in memory of Queen Louise Marie, wife of King Leopold I, called the Church of Our Lady of Laeken. This structure is called the atomium. It has 9 60-foot in diameter spheres in the shape of an iron crystal. It was built in 1958 for the World Expo of Brussels. It has elevators and escalators that take you to different exhibits in most of the spheres. This church is the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. After our relatively short day visit to Belgium, we were on our way to the Palace of Versailles outside of Paris. After waiting at the wrong spot at Lille Europe train station in France, we barely made it to the train to take us to Paris. A lady attendant from a different train line walked us right to the right platform, and we got on the train just before it left. Once in Paris, a man and wife from Belgium guided us to the train to Versailles. We couldn't get our tickets to open the turnstile bar. This couple, along with a young man and a lady, literally pulled us and our luggage through the turnstile that remained rigidly in place. Another close call. Bye-bye, Belgium.